Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dr. Music Podcast once again. Thank you so much for my return visitors, my subscribers. I so appreciate you. And no, my return visitors, speaking of return visitors, I got one right here with me today, Mr. Dino Wild. He is the energetic singer and frontman for Red Voodoo, a four-piece rock and roll band, a simple rock and roll band from Sacramento, California, highly influenced by Sammy Hagar and Van Halen and others, of course. Dino and Red Voodoo have had one hell of a ride, and I've been there for a lot of it, and it's so great to see. Playing gigs, Monsters of Rock cruise, M3 Festival recently, alongside acts like Slaughter and Bret Michaels and all kinds of stuff. They even were invited to play with their hero and mine, Sammy Hagar. It's always exciting, man. Red Voodoo, a five-song EP out there. New single from this release called All Night Long. Got a video. Dino's here to tell us all about it. Dino, man, it's great to have you.
Ah, what a great introduction. Thanks, Scott. Thank you for having me. Pleasure being on the show always. I'm super happy to be here, man. So,
It is so cool to have you. And I was just saying, when the first time you were on, you were a kid, man. You were
yeah,
like 17 years old. You started doing this band,
yeah.
and that is it's great to see the rise, man. Your
Thanks,
star
man.
rise for
And
sure.
it's starting a band at 17, a lot of growing. And we've been very fortunate in these 5 years to grow a lot and learn a lot. And now we're starting to get out there on a bigger scale. So we're very, very happy about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I say, it's great to see your star rise because it was, you were doing great things with Frank Hannon, of course,
Of course.
mentor, introduced you to everybody here out on the scene, and then you took it from there, man, and
Yeah.
all these big gigs, and you're just killing it too. I see these clips, and it's like, man, you guys sound great. It's really
Ah,
cool.
I know it's really cool to see. And with this EP we have right now, it's 5 songs, 5 heavy hitting songs, but we're just going out there and showing people what we got, and putting together a real show. When you come see us, uh, I think you're coming to see us in Illinois, right?
Yeah,
Illinois,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
July, yeah.
Yeah, full blown show, and it's gonna be really really fun. That's gonna be a good time.
It's great, man. It's great. I'm so looking forward to it. And you say that it's a full blown show, and you guys are a simple rock and roll band, which
Yeah,
we don't get a whole lot of. Now, I mean, the elephant in the room for me is the name change, and I think that fits this. You've come on before. You're Dino McCord. On the record. You're Dino
right,
McCord.
right. That was recent. That was recent.
Yeah. And it's changed to Dino Wild, and I think it's the difference. That's it really fits the band and the
Cool, man.
show. It's a show. It's
Right.
entertainment. Tell me about the decision on the name change. Was it
Yeah,
all of
yeah,
those things?
totally, man. That was a pretty recent thing. And when you're an entertainer, you need to have a persona. So when I go out there, you know, I'm Dino Wild. Dino Wild right here. You know what I mean? And I think
Yeah,
you have to be a bigger version, or more exaggerated version of yourself. I'm not going out there trying to be like Alice Cooper on that kind of a level. But
right,
you
right.
are more of an exaggerated person of yourself. So yeah, I was like, all right, I gotta step up a little bit.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Let's add something on the end.
I dig it, man. I dig it. Yeah,
Appreciate it.
you're not an accountant that does this on your
No,
spare time. You're
right.
full on. That is who you are when you're out
Yeah,
there, man.
yeah,
I've seen it. I've seen it. Just the clips. I can't wait to see it in the flesh, man.
yeah, man. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be
It's
real.
cool. It's way cool. Speaking of names, I always wanted to ask you this.
Yeah.
Andrew, Andrew, your bass player, Andrew
Yes.
Edwards,
Yeah.
nickname Rooster.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. How do you get that nickname?
So that was me. That was my doing. So, 5 years ago, back when we did Rise Up and Bring It Back with Frank, those 2 singles, our very first singles,
Mhm.
I remember I mentioned to you that probably in the last time we talked, that we were like 17, we had no money. So we had to work on the ranch, right?
Right.
Well, from where Andrew and I are based, it's about a 50-minute drive to Frank's ranch.
Okay.
So I nicknamed him Rooster because I'd have to pick him up at like 6:30 in the morning, and he'd be ready to go with his little coffee mug and everything. And I'm like, "You're up early, come on, let's go." So
Ah,
that's where that kind of came from. We just
I
kind of
love it.
it because it's just kind of a cool, funny name.
It is. It's cool, man. And
Yeah,
that whole thing is cool too. What the whole Frank thing. You call. You send him a text or something for a message in high school, and he responds. Who
yeah.
does that? Who does that?
And I think maybe if I knew who Frank was, I'd be a little more intimidated, or maybe I wouldn't even have done it. But I just,
Uh,
I didn't know the scale,
yeah,
and I think that's a good, uh, lesson for anything. Is just go, just do it.
yeah,
Just do it. Know what happens.
yeah.
But since our time with Frank, I'm managing the band now full time, and got some great introductions. Of course, I know your hero, my hero, Sammy Hagar.
Yep.
In this 5-year period, he's hired the band and I to do shows with him, charity events. So that's how we met Guy Fieri, and Guy Fieri, through his birthday parties that we've played, funded our record. That record you're holding right there, that CD.
Yep.
So it's all about just going for it at the end of the day.
Right.
And no, we're really happy with this EP, and we're super excited now. We could go out on the road. Played our first festival at M3,
Yeah.
and opening up for Bret Michaels, right? Winger, the Bullet Boys. We're getting some shows with Foghat coming up with Rat. So
Yep.
we're opening up for all of our heroes that we're inspired by. So it's very, very cool.
And it's cool to hear that, because those are what inspired me to become a fan of rock music. And our age gap is pretty significant. You know what I mean? For you to enjoy that is really unique, and I think it's what sets Red Voodoo apart a little bit. Your generation, pretty much,
Yeah,
it's a hip hop generation.
totally,
Pop and country is bigger. R&B is bigger. Dance is bigger than a classic rock thing.
totally.
And for
Yeah,
for your age group, um, but you guys embrace that. You
totally.
know it too.
Yeah,
You're learned. Um,
yes.
so tell me a little bit about that. Where are you concerned with reaching out to your generation, your age group, and have you done anything, or would you consider doing anything musically that might inspire them to listen?
Yeah, it's really cool because it's like a bittersweet kind of thing. Because it's like, yes, we're our own thing, but then sometimes some people in our generation are like, oh, well, that's our parents' music. That's not cool.
Right.
So I think it's that balance of trying to find today's trends. You've got acts like Sabrina Carpenter, Chapel Roan, Benson Boone, that are these are the pop stars now, and
Mhm.
it's like, all right, how do we incorporate, or how do I incorporate those kind of trends, but also have that classic rock influence? If that makes sense,
Mhm. Totally.
uh, that kind of vibe, and that's kind of what we're going for right now. We have about 22 songs written and ready to go, that are classic rock adjacent, but kind of still have like a tiny bit of that modern kind of songwriting flair into it.
Mhm.
Uh, so yeah, reaching to the younger audience too, and also a lot is with social media as well, because it's
Right.
really cool how far uh, we can reach people and doing certain trends. And I mean, it's so weird. It's like you could stand there and do just a stupid dance at the camera, and you'll get like 10,000 more people listening to your song, and you're like, "That's like okay, this is
It's
cool,"
crazy.
Or you just wear an outfit, wear a crazy outfit, and I think that attracts weirdness, and uniqueness attracts you know my generation, any generation.
Sure.
Um, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and it's like the name. It's entertainment. You need to
right,
entertain. It's a thing. Yeah, and there's so many times where I work with a lot of younger people, and I'll play something. I get to play some music at work, and
yeah,
it's they'll say, "Oh, that's a TikTok," and I'm like,
right,
okay,
yeah,
it's like they know it from TikTok or they know it from a video game.
Yeah,
or
that's how I know some of my stuff too. Yeah, some of the
yeah,
old songs. I'm like, oh yeah, that's from that Super Bowl commercial, or that's from TikTok. Yeah,
yeah. So it's just it's one of those things where it's a generational change. It would be great to for you guys to nail something like that, and
yeah,
and get in front of your crowd, your generation, your age group for sure.
100%.
Yeah. Your debut single, Rise Up, back in 2020. That's what I
Yeah,
remember coming in on. Produced by Frank, of course, and 2021 you had a full length record with Bring It Back,
right.
with Frank. It's not available. It's not on Spotify or Apple Music or anything like that. It's probably in the in the ether there somewhere,
Yeah,
YouTube or whatever. But there's songs on the record, Into the Unknown, Morgan Lane.
yeah.
So, what are your thoughts when I mentioned those recordings and those songs when you look back at them now, and will we see any of those songs appear again?
So yeah, that was, like I said, in that 5 year gap, there was a lot of changing, a lot of growing. So we kind of this EP that, for those, who are just discovering us now, that EP, we're making our soft reboot debut EP that you're holding
Mhm.
right there.
Yep.
For everyone 5 years ago, that Bring It Back record we decided to take down. Uh, we had some member changes, all that good stuff. We went and got hooked up with Sammy's producer to do this EP, and we still play all those songs on that. I kind of call them our Gene Simmons demos.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? Uh, and we've kind of reworked some of those songs, canned some of those songs. So yeah, that's where it kind of stands on that right now. So this EP is a soft reboot of Red Voodoo, you know,
Yeah.
and we're carrying on from there.
That's great, man. And I love the fact that you play those songs still, and you respect those songs, because I do too. I really
Oh
like.
yeah, those songs aren't going away. Yeah, we're gonna be re-releasing like that Mystery Girl and Hourglass. Those are new recordings, as you can
Yeah.
tell,
Yep.
uh, uh,
Yeah.
of those two.
It's great, man. It's great.
And KSA, that one too. We opened the
Oh,
show with KSA.
well, of course. That's exactly what you do, is kick some ass. Jameson Durr, you
Yes.
mentioned, produces the EP. Um, Jameson's done Space Between with Sammy and the Circle, and
Yeah.
some Chicken Foot stuff. Tell me about recording with him. You recorded with Frank, and then you record with Jameson. How
Yeah.
different are those experiences? Are they,
Oh,
I think every producer is a little bit different, where
very.
some are a little more hands-on, some will listen and turn knobs more than actually get involved with the structures of
Yeah.
the songs and things. So yeah, what are the big differences
Yeah.
between like Frank and Jameson?
You know, like I said, that time with Frank we had in 2020, you know, we were 17. We didn't know how to write songs at all. I think we had 2 songs written when we brought it to Frank, and it was "Bring It Back" was written, and I think Morgan Lane or something like that.
Okay.
And he really sat down and taught us the structure of how Tesla wrote songs, and really, showed, okay, here's your template, right? And we kind of carry on that template now, and we also kind of incorporate some stuff that we've learned along the way. Um, but as far as with Jameson, that was our first time in a huge studio. We recorded the debut EP in San Francisco at Hyde Street Studios, and we wanted to not record in Sacramento. We wanted to go to San Francisco, be in that atmosphere, be in that, catch that vibe, the atmosphere. And we recorded in Studio A, where Train recorded Hey Soul Sister, Grateful Dead recorded all their records, Sammy recorded Danger Zone there, which is an old Hagar.
Oh yeah.
Uh, and it was just so much fun. And we really learned about recording on a big scale like that, And we recorded the whole debut EP to a click track, made it super raw, really went in. Dave and I really helped with the producing ourselves. Jameson kind of worked as a collaborative effort on that, getting the right tones and sounds. But with Frank, it was more about learning about songwriting. And,
Right.
we were in his home studio for Rise Up and Bring It Back. So both very awesome experiences. And we're going to take those experiences and take it to the next level for the new stuff. So we're very excited.
I know you will, man. I know you will. And you know that those early days, you listened to what Frank had to say. It's
I
clear.
mean,
Yeah, it's clear.
totally, totally.
That is just so great, man. You know, when you were recording with Jameson, you know, he's recorded with Sammy and
Yeah.
things like that. Did you discuss a particular sound? Did you maybe ask him to give you the Sammy treatment where, you know, you wanted that kind of sound?
Yeah, it's funny since, I think he literally gave us the same treatment that he gave Sammy for the Space Between record,
Yeah.
same tones, that kind of thing. And we really just wanted to go for a straight up raw sound. You know what I mean?
Got it.
Five super raw, just showing that it's just, four guys, right?
Yeah.
And then we could take that in its simplest form and translate that to our live show. It sounds just like the record, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's huge. When I go see a band, I want to see them just like the record or better, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So we really wanted to highlight these 5 songs and make sure, okay, we want to show people that we could do these 5 songs justice for our debut and make it that much better live.
And you know, one of the things I think one of the hard things to do is
Mm-hmm.
have a good production, but not too good.
Right.
You know, let's keep it raw,
Exactly. Yeah.
but
So
have
it
it
builds.
interesting. You know,
Right.
and I think this record right here does it better than any record I've ever heard. I think.
Oh,
You know, that first Montrose record, Ted Templeman, you know, it goes from ear to ear when you listen to it, and it's got all this crossfading and you know all these cool vibey
right.
things, but it is the rawest record I've ever heard in my life.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
know, how he does that is a thing. It's you know, and the band and everything else. And I think you've done that with this record.
Yeah. We were trying to emulate exactly that kind of raw debut, authentic, uh,
Yeah.
release. And it's really cool to play those songs live and to play some of our new stuff live that you'll hear. Um, because it really is kind of two different sounds in a way. Still Red Voodoo, but still two different sounds between our new stuff we're working on and the old stuff. But it's still us.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. You're with Deco Entertainment,
Yes.
great big label there. Is there a set? You know, what can you tell me without getting in trouble? Where, you know, are you? How are you set with them for the future? Do you have a contract for a number of albums, or how's that work with Deco for you?
Yeah, right now we kind of just we want to get a distributor, so we signed on with them for a couple of years. I think we're coming up on the end of our term soon, but for releasing this EP, so just for the EP, and we've been doing vinyls and been doing CDs. Get those on Deco's website, decoentertainment.com. Boom, there you go, Scott.
This
Uh,
thing is just gorgeous, man. Your merch, man, is something special. Uh, it,
Thanks, man. I
this
appreciate it.
record, look at this thing. Uh, this red vinyl, it is red. I've never seen red that red before, man. It is gorgeous.
We
It
had to
is,
track down the right red to make sure it was all good to go.
man, it is again representative of the band. It's bright, it's vibrant, it's red voodoo, man.
Yep, that's
You
it.
know, you hold that in your hands. Anybody looking to hear this record, you got to get the vinyl just to hold it in your hands is something special, man.
And
It's
especially
great.
with the artwork, with the artwork with the vinyl,
Yeah.
we just wanted that classic kind of debut look. You know what I mean? It's a classic. Can't
Well,
go wrong. Boom.
and I saw this here. That is in the print.
Yeah.
You know, it's got an aged
Done.
look. I looked at
Yep.
it. I said, "Man, what is that's like dust in there or something?"
Right.
It is. It looks like you've been taking it in and out of the record collection.
Yep.
And that will happen for sure. You'll take it out and listen to it all the time. It's just it's a great package.
Oh,
You're
man.
really well done, man. Inside and out, it's a great package for sure. Um, Tell me about some of these gigs. Monsters of Rock
Yeah.
Cruise. Always wanted to go to Monsters of Rock Cruise. You did that in 2022. Uh,
Yeah.
what's that experience like, man? Because that's a different thing, you know,
Oh,
in
it's
your
yeah.
sound and everything else.
No, that was such a fun experience, and it was our first time really mingling with all of like those legendaries '80s acts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they got to see us for the first time, and it was our first introduction into this bigger world of rock music. You know what I mean? So that was really cool. Met a lot of cool people there. But more recently now, we did our first East Coast run. Did a headlining show in Pennsylvania. The next night we played with Winger and the Bullet Boys to like a sold out room in Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania. And then we had our first ever festival on the same day as Dave Lee Roth on Saturday at
Yeah.
M3 on
That's
May 3rd.
huge. That's
Yeah,
huge.
that was insane. So um, now since we're touring, uh, like I've been saying, we could really show people what we're all about on a big scale. So we're very excited, and we got some dates coming up. We got Foghat next month. We got King's X in the beginning of next month,
Great.
and Rat also next month. So we got some cool shows.
No doubt about it. I'm looking at that thing, and it's dates into October. You guys are booking shows. It's fantastic. People want to see
Yeah,
it. You'll be out on the road doing King's X, man. That's when I'll see you in July. Foghat, first band I ever saw. Way back in the day. I guess Bob Seger was because he opened for Foghat for that
yeah,
show, which was
yeah,
pretty amazing. Uh, you got Lita Ford, Asia, Vixen, my
yeah.
good friends in Vixen. Love those ladies. LA Guns with Tracy and the boys. It's just everywhere. You guys are everywhere. You're doing it all. It's just, is there one
Yeah.
show in particular that that excites you a little more than the others?
I don't know, man. It's been like so many exciting shows. I mean, this last one, Bret Michaels, is pretty legendary. That was very, very cool. Especially inviting the guys and I up on stage to jam with them for the last song of his set. Can't get any better than that. And that was very, very cool. But, we're really fortunate to be a young band, and I want to say probably the only young band getting to open up for these '80s acts, which is very, very cool. And there's a lot of other bands, my peers. You got Plush, they're kicking ass.
Ah,
They're amazing.
love
And
them, love them, love them.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I got to meet Mariah on the Trans-Siberian Orchestra when they came to Sacramento. Got to go
Yes.
meet her and stuff. That was really cool. You got bands. You got, of course, the ones we look up to: Dirty Honey, the Struts. You know, and but it's cool that we kind of get to open up for these bands and kind of stand out in that way, because usually they have other bands, legacy bands, paired up where we're a new band.
Yeah,
We're a new band getting to open up for Rat, LA Guns, Vixen.
yeah.
So we kind of stand out, and that's really cool. And we could bring our own modern, you know,
Yeah,
Gen Z flair to it. You know what I mean?
it's great.
So it's very exciting. We're very, very honored and fortunate we get to do this.
Yeah, it is great, man, and I love, like I say, I love seeing a young band doing this music. Yeah, and you mentioned Plush. I had it's a very similar situation. I had Mariah on when she was 15, and we've been great friends ever since. And I go see them every chance I get when they come around. Young band, rocking out, doing a heavy rock.
Totally.
It's really cool to see, man.
Yeah.
It's great. Uh,
If you see all these young, these bands, that are coming up now, you know, uh, they all kind of we kind of all have our own lane of what we're kind of carrying on in a weird way, if that makes sense. Plush
mhm,
kind of more like the 2000s
right.
active rock theme, we're more of a classic kind of sound. Ace and Rose got the Aerosmith thing going on.
Yeah.
You know, uh,
Yeah.
Dirty Honey, Black Crows, Guns N' Roses. I go on and on. Greta Van Fleet, you got the Zeppelin comparison.
Right.
Us, Van Hagar, kind of Van Halen-ish, all the other '80s bands. Um, yeah, it's really cool that we could kind of carry this to the next generation, which is really sick.
Yeah, man. You're bringing it back. Still
Yeah,
bringing it back. I love it, man. Dino, it's great to have you, man. Always great to have
and
you. Like I say, my door is open anytime, man. I will see you in July. July 5th, I think it
You're gonna
is.
snap some photos for us, hopefully.
Absolutely,
All
man.
right.
Absolutely. I'd be
Awesome.
honored. I'd be
Yes,
honored.
let's do it. Let's do it. That'd be
Yeah,
great.
very cool, man. Everybody check out Red Voodoo. Get this vinyl for sure. Redvoodoo.com. All kinds of great t-shirts and merch there. Check out the band's music for sure. They're changing things, man. Bringing that classic rock back. It's so great to have you, Dino. Thank you, man.
Hey, thank you for supporting us, man. Appreciate you.
Absolutely, man. And I'll see you soon.
All right.
All right. Take care, bud.
All right. You too.
Bye.